I'm your host today for Spotlight. Thrilled to present Pierre Marais in Arts. Pierre is originally from South Africa and has been on Broadway on tour in a chorus line, flash dance, ages. He's also been featured in films Rise of a Warrior, Wake of Death. Now, before we begin, I want to remind you Open for Hope's virtual arts programming brings great concerts by top talent to you. It's always free and open to everyone, and open 100% by donations. Sing for Hope extends a special thank you to of Open Arts for making this program. Pondering Services is the largest family-owned and uniform rental company in the Northeast region for 100 years. For your generous support. Featuring Pierre Marais. Welcome. We're so glad for Hope. I'm going to sit back and enjoy your presentation. Get started with your set.
Thank you. So everyone who is out there on the YouTube, on the virtual, and if you have some people like to come back, thank you. So location right now, I'm actually in I'm originally from, which is crazy with the power. I am streaming to you live from it's 10 o'clock at night. Good to everyone knows good afternoon in the United States. And some of my favorite tunes for you to just song, and it's definitely going to be a bunch of like you've never heard them before. And I'll definitely start with a bit of a classic, one of the best theater. There's a bright golden meadow. There's a bright golden haze. The corn as a elephant and him is climbing clearer. What a beautiful morning, no wonderful day. I got a beautiful nail in my way. All the cattle are standing loose. Oh, the standing like steady. They don't turn their head. They ride by. Her little brown can her eye. Oh, beautiful morning. What a beautiful day. Way hell like I feel it. Everything's going my way. All the sounds are like music. Sounds of the earth. Music. Get so busy. It a tree. But an old weeping is laughing at me. Oh, beautiful morning. You know what a beautiful day. Way hell like beautiful feel. It's going, going, oh.
Oh, thank you, Pierre. That was a great open.
I appreciate that so much. I'm about to turn my off so that my email live stream.
I thought like you were new to the music.
Yeah, I mean that's such a classic. I want to be about from Oklahoma. It's actually of that show that happened at Circle in the Square. That's a man by the name of Damon Dunno, I think. He plays curly. He runs around with the guitar. That show's going on tour soon. You should check it out. It's definitely Oklahoma like you've never seen it, and it's such like a joyful. Hey, my name is Pierre. I'm from South Africa. Music. I'm in Africa right now. That's what that song is supposed to be.
I think we're very lucky. Yeah. Well, what do you have for us?
Well, I'm going really down a. I came to discover later in moving to South Africa to America. Influences that are American like traveled over here. And a band that only influenced me in my the Temptations. Now they have two music at the moment called Ain't Too Proud. A jukebox musical, which if someone doesn't know that, it's taking usually music from that life. Sometimes it's not even from their life, it's just it already exists in the pop canon. And they have a musical called Ain't Too Proud. That's the life and times of the Temptations. And they were just a group that music that from the first few chords I usually know what the song is, and they just give you a smile. And I want to give you a and hopefully make you smile.
Oh, thank you.
I've got on a cloud. It's cold outside. I've got the mug. Well, you say make me feel this way. My girl, oh, my girl. Each day through, watch her as she passes by. Tell myself, yeah, she got to have a girl is truly true. Out of the fellas in the world belongs to you, but it was just my magic running. It was imagination way. Yeah, it was just my imagination running. It was imagination away. Yeah, it was running away. And she was my girl. Talking about my girl. She was running all through my mind.
That was great. I love that. Just one of my all-time favorites. So I was really.
Oh, so them, and there's a few bands in life in general who wrote such spectacular around 2-3 chords. Is a B to an E. The whole thing. Just my imagination.
always a chance to shine, you know.
Yeah. And I really like they point at somebody, and you're sometimes really speak, and I love that.
That's
Yeah, throughout this time, a lot of the songs, songs that bring me joy. Here with you, I can see Brandon on Zoom, and I finish these songs, you'll probably hear me be like, woo,
you're
back loop right now, and some happy tunes, and I'm sure so my influences of music, someone that he has two Broadway music artist by the name of Elvis Presley. He has those two musicals are All Shook Up. His music, but it's not about his life. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I did. Love.
Yeah, it's actually one of the more jukebox music. The book is really good, and then he has another show written about him called The $1 Million Quartet. If you don't know who those people are, The $1 Million Quartet is Johnny Cash, Presley,
And Imagine all of them, right?
and Imagine the album. That is really fun and exciting, and so their classic music all into one show. Elvis in that. I was fortunate enough to actually get to do it, but it was something I really wanted. Discovered all of this is to say what I discovered in already knew Elvis to be the king of rock and roll. How effective he was. No one really quite communicates a slow song, and there was something about his. He spoke to young women. He spoke to one in this way, and I think it was beautiful. And then the less side of him, we always see him swinging his hips around, and so I wanted to play a little song called $1 Million Quartet, and it's my little tribute to.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are still here with Pierre Marais, and we were just getting ready to move on to a beautiful song. Tell us what you're going to sing for us, Pierre.
This is Peace in the Valley, and it is by Elvis Presley. Here we go.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, I'm tired and so weary, and I must go along till the Lord comes and calls me away. Oh, yeah. Well, the morning's so bright, and the lamp is alight, and the night is as black, black as the sea. Oh yeah, there will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble, trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me, for me. Well, the bear will be gentle, and the wolves will be tame, and the lion shall lay down with the lamb. Oh yeah, there will be peace in the valley for me someday. There will be peace in the valley for me. Oh Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble, trouble I see. There will be peace in the valley for me,
That was great. I love an Elvis tune. That was beautiful.
Me too, me too. I think that's a classic, like Him from Somewhere, that he did for that show that they sort of do this quartet of that I love. So that is Peace in the Valley, a little Elvis Presley for you. I'm really excited to talk about this next part of my show because I've done one or two of these before, and I talk about my folks. So I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. My mother is from Belgium. My father is from South Africa. And they are circus performers, or they were circus performers, and they met in Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey Circus. So chances are, if you saw, Ringling Brothers in the 80s, sort of mid to late 80s in the United States at any point, you probably saw my parents in the circus as flying trapeze artists. And the coolest thing about that is, right here is a actual frame photo of them in the circus. That's them as their flying trapeze troupe. This is my mom. And she was in a double trapeze act, and it's just really cool to be able to tell that story and point out that I'm not making that up, that they are in fact from and were in the circus. And I love them so much. I mean, they're such a big reason why I am a performer, why I'm an artist at all, and they influence me so much every day. And I miss them a lot, which is why I am now in South Africa visiting them. And this next song always makes me think of them somehow, even though it really doesn't have any relation to them all, other than the word fly, as they were flying trapeze artists. But I know you will know the song and the artist that made it famous, and I wanted to say that it made me think of my folks. Fly me to the moon and let me gaze among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. What todos días, sototero for today. Sototero. In other words, whoa, 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 whoa. In other words, every day, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you.
I love that song, Pierre.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks.
That was great. That was great. Okay, so just so you know, we have a pretty large audience right now. So we have. I'm really excited for them to see what you have next or hear what you have next.
Great.
What's
Thank
up?
You. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see we have like 100 people. What's up, everybody? If you just tuned in, I'm tuning in live from Cape Town, South Africa, because that's where I'm from, and I'm visiting home right now, and it's incredible. And I'm playing. That was a little "Fly Me to the Moon." That song is so special, and I mean, Frank Sinatra is actually one of the few artists that I'm playing right now that I knew a lot about before I moved to America, and you know, I really loved learning a ton about him. I read his the biography written by his daughter. I knew he was like an American, you know, classic, but I didn't realize like what a gangster he was and like how much political influence he had. Like I had no idea about his whole life, so it was really interesting to. You know, he was studying him actually a bit, really made me recognize that, you know, when you really live life as an artist, it really impacts the work that you do. And I think you hear that when he, especially in his later years in life, when he sang songs like My Way, you know, you really felt the life lived in those words. And it's an encouragement for me that likes to really work hard to live a life simultaneously, because I think the two things can't really exist without each other, or maybe just shouldn't, or at least not the kind of work I want to make. So I want you, if I'm talking about falling in love, I want to fall in love. And if I'm talking about, you know, any kind of emotion, I want to feel those things. So, yeah. And, you know, I was saying that last song reminded me of my folks. This next one, just going along that same, you know, form. I'm at home, and I did a bit of scatting in that last song. That's what some jazz people do. Ella Fitzgerald made it very famous. Like that's a very Ella thing. I'm a jazz pianist first. That is my first instrument, and I grew up playing here. Honestly, in this room is where I learned, you know, a lot of my music. And one of the jazz standards I first learned to play was the Autumn Leaves, and there is a version of it that my mom really loves, and that always makes me think of my mother. And that I'm going to play for you, and I think you will know why. The fallen leaves drift by my window, the autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I hear old winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when the autumn leaves start to fall. C'est une chanson qui nous ressemble, toi qui m'aimais, moi qui t'aimais. Nous vivions tous les deux ensemble, toi qui m'aimais et je t'aimais. Mais la vie sépare ceux qui s'aiment. Tout doucement, sans faire des bruits, et la mer efface sur le sable et le pas des hommes désunis since you went away. Whoa, the days grow long and soon I hear old winter song, but I miss you most of all, my darling. When the autumn leaves, when the autumn leaves start to fall.
Awesome. Oh, Pierre, you have such good taste in music. That's what I have to say.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. For people who don't know, I guess I think Brandon does. That is the Edith Piaf version of "The Autumn Leaves." That is so classic. My mom is a French woman. My name's Pierre, and it comes from the French. My mom's a Belgian French lady, so she would sing that and other like some Jacques Brel songs around the house growing up, and I have very vivid memories of what her voice sounds like in that tonality and just like in that world. And she's really special to me and will always be. And it would have been an absolute crime not to sing that song while I'm at home. She's actually sleeping now because it is super late, but it felt really right. I have not sang that song in this house for a decade. Since I left to move my life over to America to be a performer. So I'm having an out-of-body experience. So thank you all for joining me on that journey. But I'm gonna take it up a little bit for us. This is an artist who, as a pianist first, personally, has always spoken to me, has always influenced me, and it's sort of part of that world where, man, he just knew how to write a melody and knows how to write a melody and knows how to make people smile. Here we go. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she pretty? Less than 1 minute old. I never thought through love we'd be making one as lovely as she. So very lovely, made from love. Isn't she pretty? Life and love are the same. Life is Aisha, the meaning of her name. Darling, it could have not been done through what she's given life to one. So very lovely, made from love. Isn't she lovely? Life and love are the same. Life is Aisha, the meaning of her name. Darling, it could have not been done through us, he's given life to one. So very lovely, so very lovely, so very lovely, made from love.
Woohoo! That was great. That was awesome.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, a little Stevie Wonder for you. That riff is for sure made for the piano, but it works on the guitar, so we figure it out.
Yes, it definitely works. It definitely works. That was awesome.
Thank you. Here live on Zoom from South Africa. I would like to remind anyone watching, because it's honestly making me giggle, that I am in Africa at 10:30 at night, singing, some of my favorite songs. It's a real trip of a time. I've sung a lot of like newer stuff right now. I mean, older stuff, classics, and the guitar for me over this time has been such a place of like refuge and safety. And I'm a Broadway performer. I made my Broadway debut in Aladdin the musical, and Aladdin's a really lovely show. And I as well as so many people miss performing, and I'm so excited for things to slowly find their way back. But in this time, I've been searching for joy, and I think we all have. I think that sort of happens, and this is a song I'm about to play for you that is not a classic like the rest of these. It's a bit of a newer song, but somehow it's always felt like a classic to me. And it's a song any instrumentalist will tell you, and if you're an instrumentalist yourself, you'll know. Every time you pick up an instrument, there's usually a song that your hands go to first, or your mouth goes to first if you're playing a reed instrument. And this is that song for me, and it's given me lots of joy, and I wanted to share it with you. And it is called Sunday Morning, and it's by Maroon 5. Sunday morning, rain is pouring. Feel some color, share some skin. Crowds are shrouding us in moments unforgettable. You twist to fit the mold that I am in. But things just get so crazy, living life gets hard to do. Sunday morning, rain is pouring, and I'm calling out to you. That someday it will bring me back to you. That someday it will bring me back to you. You may be all I need. In darkness, she is all I see. And come and rest your bones with me. Driving slow Sunday morning, I'm never gonna leave. Fingers trace your every outline, oh yeah. I paint a picture with my head. Back and forth we sway like branches in a storm. Change the weather, still together when it ends. Things just get so crazy, living life gets hard to do. Sunday morning, rain is pouring, and now I'm calling out to you. That someday it will bring me back to you. Find my way to bring myself back home to you. You may be all I need. In darkness, she is all I see. And come and rest your bones with me. Driving slow Sunday morning, I'm never gonna leave. You may be all I need. In darkness, she is all I see. And come and rest your bones with me. Driving slow Sunday morning, I'm never gonna leave. Driving slow Sunday morning, I'm never gonna leave. Driving slow on Sunday morning, I'm never gonna leave. Driving slow on Sunday morning, never gonna leave.
Okay, so I like that falsetto you did there, Pierre, near the end. That was good. That was good.
Thank you
So I'm so excited to hear what you have next. I'm sure you have something just as stellar to show us next.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I love that song. I love if you were listening in and it felt like my Zoom was getting softer, it wasn't. I was just making a choice I've never really made before on Zoom, which is to get quieter during the song. I don't know if it worked with the mic because I'm not here, but I hope it really...
It worked.
The mood sounded right. Like,
it worked.
Great.
It was good. It was good.
Great. I'm gonna move on, and as we're I'm on a little bit of a section of newer music of my set, and another artist that I've always really loved, whose energy and if I'm continuing this theme of joy and smiling has really impacted me and my music is an artist by the name of Jason Marais. Now, Jason Marais originally moved to New York City and was involved in musical theater, actually. Not a lot of people know that. And I think he went to the AMDA, American Musical Dramatic Arts Academy or something like that. And he ended up not really loving, the town or something about it. He wanted to express his music more as a instrumentalist or as a recording artist. And so he left. But he came back to New York, obviously comes in and out, and he did a show called Waitress, the musical on Broadway, where he played opposite Sarah Bareilles, which is really fun. I think their voices are really great together. I've always actually felt them to be sort of gender opposites of each other musically in a lot of ways and thematically. So it's really cool for that to happen. When he was in New York, he's been such an influence on my life. Actually, some of his music is some of the first stuff I learned specifically on guitar. I was walking on 8th Avenue, and I was doing Aladdin at the time, and he was doing Waitress, and I just got to see him, and I pulled my headphones out. We like made eye contact. I pulled my headphones out, and I did this like very classic New York drive-by thing where you're like, hey, thank you so much for your music. It's like, I said something along the lines of, I wouldn't be here without you, man, so thank you so much. And I was like, have a good show tonight. And I kept walking, and he kept walking, and he was like, thanks, man. And it was really a cool, like, little experience to be able to tell, like, one of my main musical influences, thank you. And so here's a song that he has written that is just about living happily. And and I'm gonna sing for you. I like to picture my girl through the looking glass. See her eyes a carbon atom. See her eyes and stare back at them. See the girl as her own new world. Though her home is on the surface, she is still a universe. Glory God, oh God is speaking through the blinds. Are we all here standing naked, taking guesses at the actual date and time? Oh my, justifying reasons why it's an absolutely insane resolution to live by, live high, live mighty, whoa, living it righteously, just taking it easy, live it high, live it mighty, whoa, living it righteously. I like to picture my man's to always have an open hand and see him as a given treat. See him as matter, a matter of fact, he's not a beast. No, not the devil either, always a good deed doer. Oh, well, it's laughter that we're making after all. The call of the wild is still in order nationwide. In the order of our primates, all our politics are too late. Oh my, the congregation in my mind is this assembly singing of gratitude, and they're practicing their love interview. Live high, live mighty, whoa, living it righteously, just taking it easy, live it high, live it mighty, whoa, living it righteously, and whoa, just take it easy and celebrate the malleable reality. Because nothing is ever as it seems, and this life is but a dream. Live it high, live it mighty, oh, living it righteously, just taking it easy, live it high, live it mighty, whoa, living it righteously, yeah. I said we're just taking it easy.
I have to say, Pierre, that's my favorite so far today. That's my favorite one. I loved
Thanks,
it.
Man.
Now, I know
so
we
much.
have time for a couple more, so what do we have next?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with a little story and then a classic, a good long song. So I'm probably gonna hit you with one more today. It's sort of one of my favorites. But this year I've been in and out of New York City a bunch for work and for life, and it's been such a crazy time. And I've spent now a decade. I've dedicated like a decade of my life to New York, and I've been really privileged to make my Broadway debut. And I actually happened to make my Broadway debut in the exact same when I was 16 years old. I made a trip to New York with a global UN conference, and they bought us a ticket to a Broadway show, and it was to Mary Poppins. And I saw the show, and it was such a great time, and it really influenced me to like start doing musical theater at the age of 16. And cut to 10 years later, I'm making my Broadway debut in Aladdin the musical, and it just so happens that Aladdin the musical took over for Mary Poppins at the New Amsterdam Theater in New York City. And so I got this massive, there's like a very small list of people who've gotten to make their Broadway debut in the theater that they saw their very first Broadway show. And it was this really special thing. I just felt like the city defined my life in that moment when I was 16 and called me back. And I got to before my debut, stand up at the seat that I sat in and look down and look at it every night to be like, oh my gosh, this is such a crazy journey. It's a journey for anyone. And that sort of whole thing is like this power of New York City, and no one really knows when you can consider yourself a New Yorker. There's all these weird like folklore things where people are like, well, if you've seen a rat take a piece of pizza down the street, or you've run into like, you keep running into Trevor Noah, it's like these crazy little things. But none of that is really it for me. And I spent a decade there, and for the first time last year, when I spent so much time away from New York, I missed it in a very special place. And I was like, oh, I think I'm a New Yorker now. I'm half South African. I am half Belgian. But now after these 10 years and after this time and this artistic energy, I'm half a New Yorker. And I think everyone has their own journey with that. But that moment when it clicks over for you, you just sort of know. And I must say it's a crime that this song never spoke to me before last year. But once it spoke to me, it'll never stop speaking to me. And it's just the way I feel always about the city, and especially have over the last year. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to leave you with one that, even though that last one you might not have known, this one you definitely will. Some folks like to get away, spend their holidays in the neighborhood, hop a flight to Miami Beach or in Hollywood. And I'm taking the Greyhound down the Hudson River line. I'm in a New York state of mind. I've seen all the movie stars with their fancy cars and their limousines, been high in the Rockies or the Everglades. I'm taking the Greyhound down the Hudson River line. I'm in a New York state of mind. It's so easy living day by day, out of touch with the rhythm and blues. But sometimes you need just a little give and take. The New York Times, the Daily News. It comes down to reality, and that's fine by me, 'cause I'll let it slide. Don't care if it's Chinatown or Riverside. I don't have any reasons, I left them all behind. I'm in a New York, I'm in a New York, I'm in a New York state of mind. I'm in a New York state.
Thank you so much, Pierre. I'm so glad that we've gotten to see you today, hear your beautiful voice. I do anticipate my next hosting gig with you. I can't wait until I get to hear you again.
Yeah, I love that.
What's
Thank you,
next
man.
for
Thank
you,
you. It's so
Pierre?
wonderful. So at the moment, I am gonna be in South Africa for a hot second, but I'm coming back and Aladdin. Even though I was supposed to leave the show of Aladdin to do a new show, unfortunately due to COVID, that show is no longer happening. So I'm gonna go back to Aladdin. Being they're calling me a COVID sub at the moment. They're just padding the show with a few extra people as we try to get back onto our feet. And you know, at this time, I would say two things. The one, like, if you can, if you feel safe and it feels good and you're vaccinated, definitely go out to see live theater, man. I mean, the industry can't thank you enough for it, especially if you're in New York. And just in general tonight, like, for me as a human being, like, I think the most valuable thing we have is a currency we have is time. And, you know, I know at one point there were 100 people. I know people come and go during these. I just want to say I really appreciate anyone who spends any second of their day with me. And on this, it's like, it means so much. And I know I'm really looking forward to being able to doing this all again in real life. And I can make jokes and more than just Brandon can laugh at it. So I'm seeing there we're still around 100 people, just over 100. So yeah, thanks guys. It really does mean a ton to me that people come out and they listen and yeah, hit me up. I'm sort of like under the radar on social media. I'm not a big social media guy, but you know, Instagram is at my name. And if you watched the concert today and you want to say what's up and you enjoyed it, please DM me. I would love that. This was one of my favorite ones I've done. Never met Brandon before. I love doing something for a new host. And also I'm in my hometown and it is 11 o'clock at night and I'm jet lagged as all hell. So it's been a really fun one tonight. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Pierre. Remember, he said his Instagram is at Pierre Marais. So if you want to get in touch after the show, I want to say thank you to everybody for being a part of Sing for Hope's Open Arts today. Remember, it is a live program that you're going to get live talent every time you tune in. It's always free. It's open to everyone. And it is 100% funded by donations. So I do once again want to thank our founding sponsor of Open Arts, Unitex. Thank you so much. Unitex Healthcare Laundry Services. They're the largest family-owned healthcare linen and uniform rental company in the country. So thank you again for that. And for all of you who are going to singforhope.org/calendar to get on in the know of what we have coming up for you. We have concerts and talks almost every day of the week. So definitely check out something new. Come and hang out with us. Thanks again, Pierre Marais, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.